she has not had a ton of room to move.
You know, if she hits another three-pointer, she will break another all-time college basketball record. It's one that right now is shared with her and a guy named Steph Curry.
Are there any records left after that one to break?
Finds a new one every week, it feels like. 0 for 8 from behind the three-point line, which is incredibly rare. She hits a three in every single game, just about always forever. In fact, it's been 87 straight games that she has scored at least one three-point field goal.
We have watched Caitlin Clark play a lot of basketball games over the course of her career. This is one of the best defensive efforts I've ever seen regarding limiting her ability to get open at three.
Caitlin Clark short on her 9th attempt. A whistle for over the back as a falter goes down on the ground.
Falter's been all over the floor for Iowa in this game. Lisa Bluder, even though Caitlin Clark's not having the superstar stat line that we're used to having, she has to be happy with how this team as a whole is playing. Multiple players have stepped up. You have 5 different players, excuse me, with 8 or more points. They're spreading the ball at a high level, 15 assists as a team. There are so many different players on the floor that are a threat to score. When you're scouting Iowa in the NCAA tournament and playing different opponents, people are going to zone in on Caitlin Clark. So if everybody else can step up in a major way, that's only going to be successful for Iowa.
See Kapinus just hounding Clark. Her 10th attempt from deep doesn't go. Out of bounds, it'll be Penn State ball. Let's check in with Autumn Johnson again.
Well, guys, we're looking at a sold-out Big Ten tournament, and it's cool to see women's basketball be put on a pedestal, but this was never a long shot. In fact, Iowa City lets you know it with a 7-story billboard of Caitlin Clark shooting it from downtown, literally. I asked head coach Lisa Bluder what these words mean to her, and she smiled and said, it's a cool dual meaning. Caitlin's shots are obviously longer than everybody's, and this was never a long shot that this was going to happen for women's basketball. Now that people know more about Iowa basketball, that's making a difference for the sport as a whole.
You can see it in every metric, from fans in the building to viewers watching games on TV. Basically every network that carries Caitlin Clark games has set an all-time record this season. She finds Marshall for another 3 attempt. Ball batted out. Clark, another miss from deep, and Martin saves it. Martin in the lane.
We don't give Kate Martin enough love for what she does for Iowa. Her ability to get downhill, finish, under control, and also defensively, she does so many little things. She's just the enforcer everywhere she goes on the floor.
Martin closing in on a double-double. Glue of the team, the mother hen as they've called her. Caitlin Clark hits a three-pointer, and Clark makes history once again. No one in the history of the sport has hit more threes in a season than Clark has this year.
And knowing her, she looks relieved, first off. But secondly, she's like, I finally hit one. And with that, beats none other than Steph Curry, arguably the greatest shooter of all time in the men's or women's game.
11 straight missed three-pointers for her, and the one that goes down breaks an all-time record.
I've never seen her look so relieved. That seems finally went in.
She's good, man.
But as a shooter, you got to be like Dorian finding Nemo. Just keep swimming, just keep shooting, and you got to have short-term memory. Every shot has to go in for you.
The lead up to 22 for Iowa. Grace Hall sticks with it, but Stuelke has it. Clark's running. Behind the back by Clark. And she traveled. Let's look at the three. She's now 1 for 12 on the day from deep.
That's where she likes to go. That right to left signature shot. That one dribble allows her to put it into her shooting pocket, and she's like, thank God, let's have some fun with this. Come on.
You know, the wild thing about her having an off night from deep, she normally makes 5.4 3-pointers per game. There's a foul on Iowa, and those 5.4 3-pointers per game are so crazy because I did the math. That's more than 128 teams. There's almost 350 Division I teams. She makes more threes per game on average than 128 teams this year.
The only thing more impressive with that number is the fact that you were able to do that math and find us that fun fact. I love the reaction. Look, this is fun. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, you're competing to live another day playing, but you gotta have a little fun with it. Even when you're not having your best game from the field statistically, you gotta remember your why, and Caitlin Clark showing her why.
Don't you think that's what separates her? The reason that she sticks out and has become a social phenomenon is her flair. It is her ability, the fact that she breaks the all-time scoring record from 35 feet out a couple weeks ago. The fact that she can have an off night and stick her tongue out and 20,000 people can scream for her in joy.
She understands the drama. She brings the drama a little bit, and it's something that's so much fun to watch. We love authenticity as a society, and she certainly is one of the most authentic players out there.
You'll notice Lenani Kapinus is not guarding her right now because she's not in the game. Kapinus got hit in the face and headed off to the locker room with the trainer. And Clark with a block on Odin. Marshall, the lane is open, she'll take it.
Penn State's doing a really good job not allowing Caitlin Clark to shoot threes in transition. They're sending two people at her. So Clark creates instead. Gabby Marshall gets a wide open look, and good things continue happening for the Hawkeyes.
Timeout, Penn State. Caitlin Clark has turned Carver Hawkeye North much closer to the Carver Hawkeye she's used to, where she hits three-pointers. She is the two-time most outstanding player of this Big Ten tournament, and she's had some great moments in this. Last year in the title game, she had a 30-point triple-double in the title game. 2 years ago against Nebraska, she scored 41 points in a Big Ten tournament game. She knows when the spotlight is on, she can deliver, even when she's having an off night like tonight.
She also has the crowd on a string. I mean, anything she does, they are completely following. It's like she's a maestro.
I love that the last time these two teams met, Hannah Stuelke scored 47 points, which broke the all-time Iowa scoring record. Caitlin let her have it for a week.
That was generous.
And then she broke it with 49 points 2 games later.
And that was the game where she broke the all-time NCAA Division I women's scoring record. Speaking of Hannah Stuelke, only 8 points tonight after having 47 the first meeting.
That's right. What's been different?
She's been double-teamed every time she catches the ball. Every time she looks at the ball, Hannah Stuelke is getting double-teamed.
It's pass taken away by Owusu. Marisa will stay here. Penn State yet to hit a field goal in the fourth quarter. 0 for 5. They only have 1 point.
Penn State has to find ways to get to the line. Whether that's coming in off the dribble, trying to get the ball inside, maybe some high-low action. They got to get to the foul line.
Instead, Marisa fires a deep three. Marshall had everyone here thinking maybe. Rebound to Kapinus, who's back in the game after leaving for a while once getting hit in the face. Chesky tried to pass to Marisa, got batted around, and the Hawkeyes have it. Look at Clark creating offense.
Three words for you. Change of speed. Caitlin Clark does this with ease. Calms down, gets low to the ground, then just a little hesitation up. Still is able to explode towards the rim, finishes through contact. She's balanced, shoulder square to the basket. That's textbook how you finish through some contact. And how about the flex at the end? She's been in the weight room lately, it looks like.
Soon to be the most obvious #1 draft pick in the history of American professional sports.
If you're going to go to Vegas, it's a good bet to take, I would say.
I don't know, maybe the Fever will be like, wow, she started this one game 0 for 11 from deep. I don't know. Let's reconsider.
Missed her first 11 threes.
Owusu again, she's got 18. So Clark gets some rest. The advantage of a team like Iowa having the double bye is you have to only play 3 games in 3 days if you're going to win this Big Ten tournament, which they've done the last 2 seasons. State of Success brought to you by State Farm. Triple doubles in Big Ten tournament history. There have only been 3, and Clark has one of them. I mentioned that 30-point triple double in the title game last year. She's still close to getting a triple double here. She technically has 17 in her career, and I say technically because 18 is what I like to count, because that one happened on a football field this past October in the exhibition match, the crossover at Kinnick. A falter with a career-high scoring performance.
Sydney Falter, have yourself a day. She has been excellent on both ends of the floor, but most importantly, she's letting the game come to her.
There's Kapinus, quick 2. I love the relationship between Caitlin Clark and Sydney Falter. They do various games at their shoot-arounds, a day of a game, and they split up at the end and do 2 teams. And Falter always has one team, and Clark always has another. And it's just a fun shooting drill, right? But Clark trash talks a Falter the entire time. Just, I got you, Sydney. I'm beating you. You can't beat me. As Gabby Marshall hits her 4th three-pointer of the day. There's just so much love back and forth between Clark and her teammates.
There's a lot of great chemistry with this Iowa team. So many back as Marisa gets the bucket to go from that Final Four run, the national title run. And when you have that shared experience, it takes you a long way. You trust each other. You know how to communicate non-verbally and on the floor with each other. That was a huge thing for everybody to go through together, getting to that national championship game last year.
Falter on the drive. She'll head to the line.
Sydney Falter deserves all the flowers in the world. She has been excellent tonight, knocking down shots defensively. I mean, her teammates know it too, and she is having a blast out there. Caitlin Clark looking real excited. That's the most excited Clark's looked all day. And then the save out of bounds. Taylor McCabe deserved that assist, by the way. If you're going to fall out of bounds, sacrifice your body, you better hope your teammate makes it. Gabby Marshall.
Gabby March. She's living up to the new last name. She's got 4 3-pointers now in 3 consecutive games.
Now, when you spell Marshall, is there going to be 2 L's at the end or just 1?
I think -2L at the end of March.
Oh.
March-LL.
I like the dash idea.
Trademark, copyright.
I'll call the lawyers.
She's getting a breather as well. Clark's back in the game. This is a Penn State team that, according to Autumn Johnson, came into the game the last team out looking into the NCAA tournament.
And it's a Penn State team that dealt with a horrible injury to Tay Valladay about a month ago, who was their heart and soul.
Clark, another miss from deep. Falter keeps it alive. Clark again. Very quietly, Caitlin Clark is up to 22 points today. Now, if you go all the way back to her first game ever as a college basketball player, it's your mayhem moment, brought to you by Allstate. Nobody in the arena because of COVID protocols and everything, but she had 27 points. Welcome to college basketball, Caitlin Clark.
I remember the first time I ever talked to Caitlin Clark was before a Northwestern game her freshman year, and we talked to her on Zoom, Lisa Byington and I was shocked and blown away by how poised and mature she was for a freshman. She could adequately explain how to pass the ball at a high level, how to get her teammates involved, and it is something that has carried her through all 4 years, that poise that she has on and off the floor.
Taylor McCabe hits her third three-pointer.
The game is in good hands moving forward with the youth across the nation in women's hoops.
And if you've not had a chance to watch much college basketball, especially Big Ten basketball, and you're watching tonight for Caitlin Clark, stick around this postseason for Cody McMahon at Ohio State, who's got a couple more years left. You've got multiple talented players at Indiana who are going to be fun to watch. There's tons of talented players in the Big Ten that will be back next year.
Chloe Moore-McNeil and Sydney Parrish from Indiana, who's coming up next on our air in the quarterfinal game of the day. You look at Nebraska, Natalie Potts was just named Big Ten Freshman of the Year. On Purdue, two really exciting players in Rashunda Jones and Mary Ashley Stevenson, who is also named Freshman of the Year. I mean, you can go
Michigan's got 2 5-star recruits coming in next season as well. How about Sarah Williams at Wisconsin?
Ohio State has a McDonald's All-American coming in as well. I mean, we're going on and on right now. Someone stop us.
Caitlin Clark's got a double-double. 10 rebounds, 24 points, 7 assists. Tough day for Leilani Kapinus. Played well, but her team has been struggling to score, which again goes to something you were talking about earlier, as Caitlin Clark gets a big ovation. The unicorn of college basketball. 24 points, 10 boards right now. A seat on the bench. Air ball for Jada Jimfy checked into the game. You know, we talked about how Caitlin Clark wrote on the scouting report today in big letters, do not pass ball to other team. She was much better, only 6 turnovers today compared to the 12 she had the first time these two met.
You cut it down in half, it's an improvement. We're going the right direction.
You brought up a moment ago the Tay Valladay injury for Penn State. The other thing for the selection committee to keep in mind, of course, is another 3 goes. That's now 15 made 3s for Iowa. You know, Penn State's resume might be lacking some great wins, but they had a 1-point loss to USC when they didn't have Ashley Owusu. They lost in overtime to Ohio State in December, and they didn't have Ashley Owusu. Those are things that the committee will consider.
Tay Valladay was such a great player for Penn State, really brought everybody together. They've had to adjust on the fly to life without her, but they've started to get it going, came into this game winning 3 straight. It's difficult to win games at the end of the season, headed into the Big Ten tournament. They took care of business against Wisconsin yesterday. They deserve a serious look from the committee.
For sure. The job that Carolyn Keeger has done. She took over a 4-win program. She won 7 games her first year, then 9, then 11, then 14, now 19 this year. Steady improvement each season. But the story today has been the Iowa Hawkeyes, and perhaps you can hear their fans here. IOWA chant the Hawkeyes do.
That thing goes on forever.
We heard it when we did the game at Kinnick Stadium this year. It can echo and go on. And when they're playing great, fans are thrilled to keep singing that chant.
This was a team effort tonight. 5 different players in double figures for Iowa. Hannah Stolke wasn't even one of them. She was double teamed the moment she stepped off the bus, essentially, in this game by Penn State. Sydney Fulcher coming to life. Those are the types of performances that give players like her so much confidence in March and moving forward.
A reason to be terrified of Iowa this postseason, their defense. We talk about their offense. They're the best scoring offense in the country, but that is something Lisa Bluder has focused on the last couple years. They've gotten so much better at it, and they are holding Penn State down. Outside of one well-scored third quarter from Penn State, Iowa has been all over them defensively. Now this weekend, don't miss the 2024 Big streaming live on Big Ten Plus. Now that's of value to both fan bases. Great wrestling schools at Penn State and Iowa. Penn State Lady Lions scored 93 points when these two teams met up earlier this year. They're stuck on 61 right now.
This is a Lady Lions team that puts up 84 points a game. That's good for third in the Big Ten. Held to just 61 points tonight. Iowa's defense was good because they packed the paint inside, stayed inside the three-point line. There was never really any dribble penetration consistently. Penn State struggled to get the ball in the paint, and Iowa was able to rebound out of it, won the rebounding margin plus 12 in this game.
Iowa Hawkeyes have their 22nd 90-point game of the season. They hold Penn State 22 points below their average and get the win 95-62. They are off to the semifinals where they will take on the winner of Michigan and Indiana, which you can see next right here on the Big Ten Network. The Hawkeyes' quest for a third straight Big Ten title continues. They now have 27 wins on the season and have been perfect on neutral site games. Remember, they're 6-0.